Okay, welcome back everybody to the Dream Whisperer of Jesus, where we discuss and interpret prophetic dreams. Chilly evening here in Canberra. We've had a bit of rain in the past few days, so it's cooled down a lot, but still quite a nice summer evening. But I've got my jacket on. Okay, today I'm going to share a prophetic dream about Australia and China that I received on 12th of November 2025. So 2 months ago. So as background context for this dream, on 2nd of November 2025, my wife received a prophetic dream about thousands of Chinese soldiers in Batemans Bay on the south coast of New South Wales. And the unusual thing about all those Chinese soldiers were that they were wearing civilian clothing. So this is a symbol of the Chinese fifth column forces in Australia, or more correctly in Sydney, who are waiting to be activated, ready for the future Chinese military operation in Batemans Bay. Okay, so this is the dream that I received on 12th of November. In the dream, I was at Batemans Bay, and it was a typical Australian beach summer scene. There are lots of Australian families on the beach playing happily, joyfully, having picnics, making sandcastles, swimming in the ocean. Everything was happy. But at the same time, I also saw an Australian soldier, and he was there with his machine gun. And as I watched, an Asian man approached him, and the Asian man was shorter than the Australian soldier. So this is obviously China's got a military 1,000 times larger than Australia, but this Chinese military force, it is smaller than the Australian Defence Force, but they have a strategy about how they think they can win and defeat Australia. So this Chinese man was quite angry and agitated, and he initiated a physical scuffle with the Australian soldier, and he threw some sand at the Australian soldier, and the Australian soldier threw some sand back, and some of the Australian people on the beach saw it and they laughed because it seemed quite a comical scene. So this is a symbol of what happened in February of 2025, when we had the Chinese naval task force come down to Australia, and they sort of had a standoff with each other, but there was no blood drawn, there was no shooting of weapons, just a standoff and like a physical scuffle, a show of strength, if you like, and Australia won. But then in the dream, after a while, the Chinese man came back and he initiated a physical scuffle with the Australian soldier a second time. And this second time, it was more serious. The Chinese man used more effort, and the Australian soldier had to use more effort to throw him off. And then the physical scuffle happened a third time, and this was when it started to get more serious. The Chinese man really started to use his energy and strength, and the Australian soldier was forced to use his own strength to throw the Chinese man off. And then when this physical wrestle happened, at the last moment, just as they broke apart, the Chinese man managed to throw sand into the Australian soldier's mouth. So this is a symbol of what's just been happening off the coast of Batemans Bay, southern New South Wales, in the past few weeks, but the Australian government hasn't revealed it to the Australian public. So the mouth is a symbol of the entry to the body. It's like an entry point. And the fact that the Chinese man got sand in the Australian soldier's mouth, that's a very strong symbol to me that the Chinese soldiers actually infiltrated onto Australian soil. It's like they picked up the sand in their mouth, threw it in the Australian soldier's mouth, and got inside Australia, if you like. So this this sand in the mouth is a symbol of Chinese soldiers actually getting inside Australia. But in the dream, the Australian soldier intentionally shut his mouth because he didn't want the Australian people to know what had just happened. So this is what the situation we're in today in Australia at this moment in time. It hasn't been revealed to the public that Chinese soldiers over the Christmas New Year break actually infiltrated a force onto an Australian beach, and then there was a armed standoff, and those Chinese infiltration forces were pushed back into the ocean, but they actually got onto an Australian beach. So that was the first part of the dream, if you like. But in the dream, it's only by God's power, I was the only person on the beach who actually saw this moment when this sort of split second when the Chinese soldier threw the sand in the mouth. But then other people didn't see the sand thrown in the mouth, but they saw that the Australian soldier had to really physically exert himself to push the Chinese man away. And when this happened, some people on the beach grew quiet because they knew it was a lot more serious than what they thought. Okay, that's part one of the dream, and then I'll share part two in a moment. Okay, God bless you everyone. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.